Welcome back to another edition of the Patriots Clubhouse, and today we're back after yesterday discussing day 2 of free agency. And before I get started with asking you guys how are you doing, it is confirmed that after the whole dilemma with the Ravens backing out of the Max Crosby trade, it was reported by Tom Pelissero that Cowboys would still be interested in trading for Max Crosby. I don't get it, but as always, I'm your host, Dow, aka DTN. And of course, I got Andy and Austin with me. Austin, how are you doing?
Doing well. I'm sure a lot of us were asleep last night when we saw the news on Elijah Vera Tucker. Happy we have somebody that's going to be, I assume, would be next to Will Campbell. I've seen some things speculated that maybe Onwenu moves to left guard and Elijah Vera Tucker, because of his chemistry with Morgan Moses, can play next to him. I'm okay with either. The bottom line is he needs to be healthy. And then obviously, I think the Dobbs signing was amazing. I mean, I was at work just plugging away on a machine and just ba-ding, look at my Apple Watch, and it's just like, Romeo Dobbs, 4-year deal. And I'm like, let's go. I think especially with like losing Diggs, we needed somebody. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, he's an AJ Brown caliber player. But the person I compare him to right now is like the Buffalo Bills bringing in DJ Moore. The Bills are on contract with DJ Moore now to pay him $26.8 million a year, and it cost him a second-round draft pick. We just got Romeo Dobbs in free agency, and if you look at the years that DJ Moore and Dobbs had, they were almost identical, with Dobbs actually producing a bit more. And it's just laughable because, in my opinion, we got another steal of a deal. I mean, a 4-year deal on a 25-year-old receiver. I don't know. That's just the like basis of this, but I'm pretty excited compared to yesterday.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to talk about. Obviously, the two players both have of like an injury history, but we will get to that later on in the show. But gonna ask you, Andy, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm gonna, kind of back off what Austin said here. Yeah, I was at work, frankly, when I heard about both of these signings. I was, you just running along on a delivery. I was on and it's like, okay, I put Pat's news on. It's like, okay, Vera Tucker, okay, I know he's injury prone, but I mean, did not play the entirety of the 2025-26 season and has only played something like 40% of the games since he's been drafted, I think. But when he is on the field, he is arguably the best guard in the NFL, and has played, swing guard, through most of his time with the Jets. I think, he played like 16 snaps at right guard and has played a handful of snaps at both tackle positions. The only position he hasn't played along the offensive line is center. And a half hour later, or an hour later, rather, Romeo Dobbs, I'm like, okay. I mean, I wanted AJ Brown, but I mean, I can take Romeo Dobbs. The Packers kind of had the same situation we did. They had Watson and they had Golden and they had Dobbs and they had
Jaden
Reed. Thank you. Tucker Kraft, who basically had had some Gronk type games last season. So and we had obviously all our pass catchers, but
Packers also have Luke Musgrave, the other tight end
too. Exactly. So yeah, I mean we definitely came out looking better today than yesterday. Those are two, I mean, at worst you got an injury prone offensive lineman and a top tier number 2 wide receiver. So those are definitely positions of need. And I think, hopefully, Dobbs can fill some of the void that was left by Steph Diggs' departure.
Yeah, exactly. And before we get started, guys, if you're coming in, welcome. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up as you're coming into the show. And please make sure that you hit the subscribe button definitely a free way of helping support the channel, help us grow as the Patriots Clubhouse. We welcome all of you guys to the Patriots Clubhouse, and you could do so further by sharing this with all of your friends, family, and also sharing this to your fellow Pats friends, whatever, and then also turn on the notification bell so that you're notified for future episodes like this. And also, please participate in the chat. I'm reading a lot of stuff in the chat, and it's nice to see you guys interacting. So let's get started with the AVT signing. I was unfortunately on the Dylan Parham train. He's obviously has experience with Josh McDaniels, played left guard. Basically, McDaniels single-handedly drafted Dylan Parham for when he was the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. But when I heard that we signed AVT, I was a little concerned. But when Nelson talked to me out of it in a Discord chat that probably he might have the Morgan Moses treatment or the Hunter Henry treatment, because I'd assume, Austin, that we have a better medical staff than what the Jets have for AVT. I'm not entirely settled on that, but what are your thoughts if the Patriots were to do that with AVT?
Yeah, I mean, I think scenario plays a huge part, not just in if we look at it at a base level with like rookies coming in, being drafted to certain organizations and how those things are run, but just free agents. I feel like New England has a history of kind of bringing in some guys where they were kind of written off, that nobody thought they were good anymore. They had injuries. I mean, probably the greatest example of that is Randy Moss, where he's on the Raiders and everyone's like, this dude's a shell of himself. He's not going to do jack shit. Here, take him, Patriots. And he turns his career around. I could very well see that with Elijah Vera Tucker, and maybe we're looking at the guard for the Patriots for the next 7 years. Like, that would be best case scenario. I have full faith in this Patriots training staff that they're going to do everything they can to make sure he's nice and healthy. Obviously, he has a past relationship with a couple of the people on the coaching staff, as well as he partnered with Morgan Moses on that right side of the line in some of the time that he played for the New York Jets. So I think there's just instant chemistry, and I'm really looking forward to what he's going to be able to do if he can stay on the field. But yeah, I think the injury concerns are warranted, and it's something we'll have to keep an eye on throughout this offseason heading into the calendar year. Oh, you're muted.
Thanks for letting me know, Austin. So yeah, going back to the whole AVT conversation, yeah, I think that he's going to be your future left guard. Obviously, I would not settle on not drafting a left guard in the draft, because obviously because I think Ben Brown could be your left guard behind AVT, but I'm not entirely certain if they're not going to go left guard in the draft. I would assume they can go left guard in like day 3, or maybe I would assume day 3 in the draft. I would not say no to going left guard in the draft, but always I think AVT is going to be your starter. And yeah, I was a little conflicted since he mainly played right guard for the Jets, but at the same time, I heard that he has the versatility, and that's something that I love hearing. Obviously, good pass blocker, good run blocker, and I watch obviously his highlights and some of his tape, and I heard he was like some mauler when he was on the field, basically like the 2024 season, where everybody, even though we all shit talk on the Jets because of the whole Aaron Rodgers saga, but at least there are a couple of spotlights from the Jets team that made a real huge impact on that roster. But yeah, I'm not worried about the contract, because the contract is reasonable. 3 years, $42 million. I would assume it's 21 million, 26 or 21 million guaranteed. But Andy, when we talk about this, do you think the contract that we gave to AVT is more reasonable than the typical money that you would give to a left guard? And you're muted.
Sorry, thank you. Reasonable in what way?
Reasonable, it's not overpaying what the Saints did with David Edwards, what the Browns are doing with Zion Johnson. Like, you're giving him a recent amount of money.
Yeah, I think I think it is reasonable considering the way the Pats like to do individual deals or what have you, like for their players. I think that the Pats have a reputation of doing that more than other teams. I unfortunately don't have what AVT's numbers are right in front of me, but he's 27. I think he'll be 28, so he's
I think it's like 26.
He's born in 99. He'll be 27. He'll be 27.
Yeah, he will be 27 in
There you
June.
go. Thank you. So yeah, which is still on the relatively young side of things for an offensive lineman when you consider Andrew Whitworth and David Andrews and but yeah, I definitely don't think it's too stupid a deal at all. If I just look at crud. If I just look it up here and Patriots contract. Oh man. Here we go. Computer's being a pain in the neck here. So 3 years, $42 million, $7.2 million signing bonus. Yeah. Guaranteed salary, $21 million, average annual 14. Yeah, that's not stupid at all. That's completely reasonable money for a guy of his caliber when he's healthy. I'm not sure what the Pats left, will wind, it's like, okay, it might be a waste of money if he hits the field and gets injured on the first snap. Well, obviously we don't want that to happen. But yeah, for a guard who is top at the top of the league when he's on the field, when he's healthy, it's completely reasonable cost.
Yeah, it's a reasonable deal if you were to give a left guard. Obviously the Patriots know about his injury history, so they were playing chess there because that you're going to give him a reasonable contract. Everybody thought that we would give him like a salary of an average salary of like 17 million or 18 million. I feel like 14 million is like robbery there. It's just like that's like the biggest steal when it comes to like free agency. Obviously, we want to know how it translates. We need to see if I would assume that he would not take part of like mandatory OTAs, and yes, maybe mandatory mini camp, and then have him ready by training camp. But obviously, I'm no doctor. I'm no nurse. Obviously, I don't have a doctorate degree and like whatever. So obviously, the doctors know how they're going to handle ABT situation, concerning that he torn triceps twice and obviously suffered, I think it's an ACL. I'm not entirely sure. In 2023, I could be wrong, but I know he's tore his triceps in 2022. Then he tore his, I think it's Achilles or ACL in 2023, and then 2025, before the season started, he tore his triceps again. Yeah, and obviously
torn tricep times 2 and a torn Achilles. Yeah.
Okay, so it is a torn Achilles. So yeah. I would assume that the Patriots are going to be cautious about his availability, because the problem with AVT is not his gameplay, is more of his durability.
Yeah. And listen to these numbers, guys. Sorry, Dow. 2022, torn tricep during week 7, missed the final 10 games. So he only played 7 games. 7 games. Thank you. 2023 season, torn Achilles in week 5. 2024 remained healthy and played 15 games, so he only missed 2. And 2025, obviously, he was out the entire season after another torn tricep requiring surgery and 7-month recovery period. So, the guy is definitely accident prone. Durability is a big question, but hey, do you you're throwing money at him hoping this guy is who he is when he's healthy. But, we know it's the most durable guys occasionally get injured. Pat Mahomes is coming off the most serious injury he's had in his, 9 years, something, NFL career, 8-9 years. But Yeah, I mean, like I think it was Nelson said in the chat. I mean, Vrabel and his staff work wonders with injured players. Look what we did with Diggs and Carlton Davis last season, and now we got AVT. So, yeah, definitely a concern, but I think worth it. Very high risk, very high reward.
Yeah, it's definitely high risk. High risk, high reward. So I think that's the type of scenario that we're going to be taking a look at. So obviously with the whole AVT, now you have an idea of who you're going to put at left guard. So as far as the stand, so what the offensive line is going to look like is left tackle will be Will Campbell, left guard will be AVT, center will be Jared Wilson, right guard will be Michael Onwenu, and then right tackle will be Morgan Moses. Unless we were to draft a right tackle, and then possibly Morgan Moses plays the first half of the season, and then maybe whoever the right guard is, whoever we draft, whether it be, I don't know, like I can list off, but we will save that for another time. But yeah, I'm loving what the offensive line looks like, because obviously the problem last season is last season Drake May was sacked like 68 times.
2 rookies on the left side. Count them.
That is true. So obviously you now have a veteran presence between two young guys. Correct. Both from the SEC conference. And so when I think of AVT, when we look back into the draft of 2020, you know what's funny? AVT was a pick above Mac Jones. And the fact that we got AVT now, it's actually
21.
Yeah, I thought I said 21.
I thought you said 20. My bad.
No,
my bad.
No,
okay.
But yeah, I can't believe that AVT was a pick above Mac Jones.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. And now Mac is obviously in San Francisco. Yeah, AVT. A lot of people mocked us AVT, and I think you and I talked about him now and said we didn't want him. Oh, he's just an accident waiting to happen. But there is that but of when he's on the field.
So yeah, obviously I don't hate him as a player. I was just more worried about his durability. But obviously,
completely.
But obviously, Mike Vrabel and his training staff, and obviously all the coaches can do wonders with players who are injured. So if AVT has if he can stay on for at least a minimum of 13 games, we should be fine. At least for a minimum of 13 games. That's all I care about. So granted, the season's not going to be easy next season, but I will not be shocked that this upcoming season it should be improved in a sense that okay, thank you, Nelson. So Bill said he wanted AVT, but the Jets jumped the Patriots to draft him. Interesting.
Wow. That kind of surprises me, to be honest.
I'd assume that other first round pick was from the Seahawks when the Jets traded away Jamal Adams to the Seahawks. I think that could be a possibility. I could be wrong. So, but yeah, AVT, now a New England Patriot. I'm curious what the offensive line is going to look like. Obviously, chemistry is going to be really important, so I'm really excited for that. Now let's move on to the other free agent, and that is Romeo Dobbs. Romeo. Where's my? I don't remember the
Romeo. Wherefore art thou Romeo? Yeah, the balcony scene.
Deny my father, refuse my name.
I know. I read Romeo and Juliet my freshman year in high school, and I liked it. Okay, let's carry on with Romeo Dobbs, now formerly of the Green Bay Packers, 25, going on 26 next month, relatively young guy.
Yeah. Okay, so with Romeo Dobbs, it's kind of interesting. So you're basically he's not your wide receiver 1, but he's more your wide receiver 2. So obviously you got a guy who is at least big. So he's obviously from the same draft as Tyquan Thorne. We don't have to talk about it, but he's 6'2", like your typical, like a tall wide receiver coming out of Nevada. And what I love about his, obviously I've listen to 98.5 and obviously Patriots Press and obviously CLNS, and obviously Romeo Doubs is opposite of Stephon Diggs in a sense that he's not a diva. He's a silent guy, hard worker. Granted that he did suffer with concussions, but it's not as like the injuries that Doubs suffered. It's not as major as AVT. So obviously, the biggest thing with Romeo Doubs is he's going to be wearing his Guardian cap, and that's that's the biggest thing with Romeo Doubs. But Austin, I know that when we initially got Romeo Doubs, there were multiple reporters not like settled on of like what the official contract terms are like, but I would assume that it's around 4 years roughly, between 17 million to 20 million. Is that like decent money for like a wide receiver too? Because I know the current highest paid wide receiver too is T. Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even say that T. Higgins is really a one who gets to play too. I think the contract that he got, I believe it's something like 4 years for 70 million. So yeah, it does end up being something like 16, 17 million a year. Is really good for basically an up and coming receiver. 6'2", 204 pounds. He was the Packers' leading receiver this year, notching over 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. He had 85 targets, so he's definitely high target share. I think he only had 3 drops on the entire year, and he lit it up in the one postseason game against the Bears with 8 receptions, 11 targets, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Something that if we had gotten a performance like that out of any of our receivers, maybe we're looking at a Super Bowl win. But it's just, yeah. So I think it's great value. I'll keep preaching it. I think every player that we have signed this free agency compared to last year where it just felt like we're handing out money because we have money to burn, this year feels a lot more strategic in how they're going about it. It is a lot slower for comparison. We signed 16 players last year. This year we're only at 4. So
maybe
I can understand
5 when you consider getting Jesse Luketa out of the Arizona Cardinals or Rams, but that's more of like
who is he?
That's more like almost like a practice squad type of pickup sign thing. Like
offensive linebacker. No, I mean outside linebacker. So that could be an introduction. He could be more of like a go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I just think they've just done a really good job being strategic in how they're bringing in these people with these contracts. They're not, giving these people lucrative deals. And I think we're going to continue to see that with potentially, bringing back maybe Jalen Hawkins and Kayvon Chason if it's, in the cards. I would like to think that maybe they take a home-friendly deal. I don't know, but I think they both really love playing here, but I just have liked how the Patriots have managed their money, especially with some contract extensions coming up in Gonzo and a few other players. So
yeah, Michael Wenu is going to need a contract extension because this is going to be his final year on his deal. Hunter Henry, I think this is also his final year of his deal, but I would assume that we let him go. But yeah, what I heard I watched Colby's video, and I think the biggest thing with Romeo Doubs is that he's going to be your biggest red zone threat, because I heard that most of the touchdowns, correct me if I'm wrong, Austin, that most of his touchdowns were from the red zone. I'm not entirely sure, because I think that the reason why he got Romeo Doubs is because we need some tall receiver and because we lack in scoring in the red zone.
Yeah, I would actually say Doubs is he is very comparable to Diggs in the sense of he has strong hands and he's not afraid to go and get the football. There's a play that we could show or people can look up, but it's him doing a slant near the goal line on the Cowboys, and he just grips that thing, similar to how Diggs caught that ball against the Texans. It's like the same type of slant route. And he just is able to hold on to that ball. And yeah, 6'2", he's proven. I think it's 4 of his 6 touchdowns came in the red zone. He was very efficient in the red zone when targeted. But something that I don't think a lot of people are paying attention to is he's ranked top 3 in separation the past 2 years, which is something the Patriots have desperately needed. I think he was second in 2024 maybe he was 4th this year, or it's flip-flop. So maybe
I
it's
think
top.
he's like 2nd in 2024 and then 5th in 2025.
Yeah, so top 5. But regardless, like when you're looking at a Patriots team that, I mean, we couldn't get separation for anything. So I think Dobbs is just like a welcome addition. I envision some form of like Dobbs booty, and then like I am still not taking AJ Brown off the table, or BTJ, or hell, even a Marvin Harrison Jr. I still think we have enough money to be able to make a crazy trade like that, or attack a wide receiver with that 31st overall pick. There are some great choices in Chris Bell, then Boston, Conception. I mean, you have your choice. I get it's a later pick, but I think we still need that wide receiver 1, or that quote unquote like get after it, can play multiple roles on the offense, basically like a do it all.
Yeah, so maybe get like a Brazil out of Tennessee, or Surratt out of Indiana, Skylar Bell out of UConn. Who else am I thinking of? Oh, Ted Hurst out of Georgia State. We can go like any tall wide receiver. I don't care, as long as we get a tall wide receiver. As long as it's not a tiny receiver the same size as Pop Douglas, I will be okay with it. But Andy did say that to confirm that the deal is actually 4 years and $80 million. So basically that's like $20 million. So it's like it's not even a bad contract at all, Andy.
No, 100%. That's not a bad contract at all for a top of the line wide receiver 2, basically. And yeah, I want to piggyback up off what you said, Austin, because this does not take AJ Brown off the table at all. As they were saying on 98, not 98.5, but 93.7 this afternoon, it's like, okay, I think it's Diana Rossini also saying that the Patriots have not taken AJ Brown off the table. I mean, there is discontent down there in Philadelphia. They don't want him. He doesn't want them. And quote, Howie Roseman might be overplaying his hand. But yeah, I mean, Andy Hart had it right. I mean, when people complain that this team is being cheap, this is 2 days and it's not even technically free agency yet. The Pats have spent half the money they did last year. And this whole thing is only 28 hours old, and we've already spent half the money we did last year when we landed Milton Williams on a monster contract. So here we are, with those 2 guys, AVT and Dobbs. I mean, yeah, and Ted Johnson's in there. Oh, yeah, over the past 21 years, they've been the second cheapest team in the league. Well, yeah, again, hate to sound like a broken record here, for how many of those years did they have Belichick? 20.
Yep, and usually they're hot and cold.
Do the math. Right. And to Hart's point, exactly. Usually they're hot and cold. It's like, okay, throw a ton of money down, and then the next year maybe a little less, and then the next year a little less, and then maybe the 4th year the Wonder Bowl goes round and round. You do the whole big thing again. But yeah, I would like to think that AJ Brown is still on the table, because let me tell you, this wide receiver core, AJ Brown and Romeo Dobbs, that's a playoff wide receiver core right there. You've got, and obviously in AJ Brown, you've got a guy whom Vrabel knows really well, and those 2 are like this. Put him on this team, and you're off and running. So we'll obviously be paying attention to tomorrow too. But yeah, Dobbs, that 4-year, $80 million deal. I mean, $20 million a year is relatively cheap for, reasonable, if not relatively cheap, for a guy who's had the production he has the past couple of years.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, if I could interject too, like I was saying, DJ Moore, like he's making $24.6 million this year. And then even if you compare it to a Wendell Robinson, who I honestly can't, he went to the Titans, I think, to reunite with Dayball. He's making the same basically as Romeo Dobbs. So you tell me who you'd rather have, 6'2" Romeo Dobbs or 5'8" Wendell.
6'2", 100%. And how long have we been talking about a tall wide receiver? The better part of a year. Here he is.
Yep.
Also, we're not giving like a shit ton of money like we did, like the Colts did with Alec Pierce. Like
Right.
Alec Pierce, he's more of a wide receiver too. Everybody debates of like he's going to be a wide receiver 1, and he's making $29 million.
Yeah, it's like I wanted Alec Pierce, and here's Zoe saying, "Oh, geez, he'd just be another wide receiver 2, and would have been pricey, and throwing away high picks for him." And yeah, it's his loss. He didn't want to come here. There you go. He wanted to stay.
That's his
in Indy.
loss.
He wanted to stay with Danny Pennies, and that's that.
Yep, he's going to go back to mediocrity. Unfortunately, I don't think the Colts are going to move a needle when it comes to like, whatever. And I would not be shocked if the general manager, Chris Ballard or Shane Steichen, gets fired out of Indy, because basically
not Steichen. Definitely not Steichen.
Definitely not Steichen, but definitely Chris Ballard.
Very possibly, yes.
Because at this point, they are not going to, because I don't see him making the playoffs. I'm sorry, because look what the Tennessee.
Neither do I.
Texans could possibly reclaim the division spot. I don't know.
The Texans, that defense is no pushover. Go ahead, Austin.
Another thing on Dobbs, like I keep watching tape and I'm just getting infatuated. And maybe it's like the spell of like you got a new toy on your team, or you're just looking at him. But from what I'm seeing, he's just really, really good route runner, and he's a jump ball like getter. Like a lot of these plays I'm seeing, Jordan Love just doesn't have a strong arm, and he is underthrowing these. And this guy is coming back to the ball and catching everything. It is like it's literally what we wanted out of Devontae Parker, what we wanted out of N'Keal Harry. Like the list goes on and on and on.
A washed up Juju Smith-Schuster,
it just feels like we're finally getting it. And I think the only thing you could say about Romeo Dobbs is like you can make fun of is the Guardian cap that he wears, right? Like,
well, for safety reasons, because he had concussions.
Look exactly. I don't mind it, but people are hating on it for whatever reason.
I love it.
Look what he did with Jordan Love and
Aaron Rodgers
and an old Aaron Rodgers and Malik
Willis, who is now with the Dolphins,
and now he's got Drake May. I mean, the sky's the limit for what a guy will be in his 26-year-old season.
Also, something to mention that I don't know who posted this. I don't know if it was you, Austin, that the Commanders were also interested on getting Romeo Dobbs, and he preferred Drake May over Jaden Daniels. Wow. That says a lot, right?
Wow. And that you would not have been hearing that a year ago.
Imagine if the Bears were in the mix. He would be like Drake May over Caleb Williams any day, any night.
Yeah.
And so
I don't know if I would have even taken May over Daniels a year ago. There you go.
Yeah. And now the biggest question with Romeo Dobbs is he going to be wearing Gronk's number?
They should retire 87. Come on.
Well, I'm trying to think what numbers are kind of free right now. 80. Obviously, he likes 80.
There's 80. There's 4. 4 is Gibson's number. 6 is Baker's number. 8 was Diggs' number. 19 was Milton's number. He could wear 7, but Davis has the number, so
give him 8. Take Diggs' number and 8, 9 because Booty with 9. I like that.
Tell me something about this, guys. The Wonder Ball could come back around on Steph Diggs. They were talking about that on the radio. I wouldn't buy it.
I'm not bringing back Diggs. I have no idea what the heck is going on with this legal issue. So until April,
and it's like, but there's possibility. If the legal issues get dropped, he could be a Patriot again. Because Vrabel likes him and he likes Vrabel's like this Diggs signing.
Yeah, I think I even came out and said it in yesterday's stream where it felt like him being cut was more to do with his legal battle than it was with us saving money. Correct. And I just don't believe the speculation of, his charges are going to get dropped and we're going to bring him back. Like, I don't know. I'm very happy and appreciative of what he did for this football team, for our young players. But yeah, I mean, Dobbs is the clear route runner, separator, replacement, taller than Diggs, younger than Diggs. It's like why bring
everything you
Diggs
want
back?
in a wide, everything
Also,
you
not
want
getting into
in a,
any legal issues.
everything you want in a receiver, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Tall, he can get open, run his routes well, not a mistake-prone guy.
Yeah, good thing that we're not going to have Mac Hollins being your leading receiver again.
Right.
And not having him being like him or Hunter Henry being your
playoff receiver. Our leading playoff receiver was Mac Hollins. Like that says right there why I lost the Super Bowl.
Not to mention that we don't have to rely on him or Henry to be your red zone target, where basically you have multiple options. And I watched this video on Instagram where basically Dobbs is not going to be the guy that he's not going to be like one of those divas that's like, I want the ball targeted to me. Obviously, McDaniel's offensive system, even though we talked about the whole fullback scenario yesterday, the offense, it doesn't rely on a wide receiver one. Like, you can have multiple, like, look what the Packers have done. Obviously, there's connections with Elliott Wolf here and there. And so if you look at the roster, like you mentioned, Andy, it's mainly wide receiver twos like Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, previously Romeo Dobbs, and now Matthew Golden. I don't know who else is on the roster, but if I were to look at the current wide receiver for the Packers, they also have Bo Melton. They also have Datavion Wicks. They also have Savion Williams. So basically, you have a galore wide receivers over there for the Packers. And basically, what Elliott Wolf is doing is basically what basically his father was doing when he was the general manager for the Packers.
But you see, the thing about Josh McDaniels is look at the guy he's got a quarterback. He's got Drake May, and Drake May might be behooved by a diva wide receiver. But, Brady, tell me your opinion here, guys. Brady had his favorite targets. He had Gronk, he had Edelman, he had Amendola. May, and earlier in his career, there was Dave Patton and obviously Randy Moss, and Dave Patton from way back when, and Deion Branch and Randy Moss in the middle there,
and Wes Welker,
right? But May really not that we haven't, he's still a fairly young quarterback, but he seems to really like to spread the ball around. He spreads the ball around a lot more than Brady ever did. So the diva wide receiver, like your AJ Brown type?
Nah. Plus I don't want a guy with degenerative knees.
That too.
Because he had injury as of late, he has been having injuries. Plus, I don't want to be the cancer in the locker room, obviously, that if you were to get AJ Brown, like, I don't mind getting AJ Brown, but you're basically telling teams no that who Drake May is going to be targeting to almost every single time. So there's a reason why I like the unpredictability, but obviously you do not want to be vanilla cupcakes whatsoever. So it's nice to have, like, obviously the wide receiver core that we have is not the best before Romeo Dobbs, but what Romeo Dobbs brings, the separation, which basically we lack, the speed we now have. So now that
and the height that we now have too.
The height, that is good. Now we can go into the draft being like, we don't have to double up at wide receiver. We could get one tall receiver in the draft. We can go a whole list of that in April. And basically, you now have a good wide receiver room that is not like as the best it was because of Stephon Diggs last year, but it's going to be more improved than it initially was before the legal tampering.
This is not a laughable wide receiver room. I mean, it's
exactly.
It's not your Polk and Baker. It's not your Ty Thornton and washed up Juju. It's,
or Devontae Parker.
Ugh, don't even. And I was excited when we signed him.
Not even Elson Aguilar. I love Kendrick Bourne, but not the same.
Right. Yeah, go
But
ahead, Austin. You look like you wanted to say something.
Oh no, I'm just nodding in agreement.
Yup.
anything to add into the conversation, Austin? Because clearly, like you mentioned before, Andy, the leading receiver, it was not even a wide receiver back in 2024. It was a tight end. So now that our leading receiver is a wide receiver instead of a tight end, like we're not like the Las Vegas Raiders, who the leading receiver is Brock Bowers, or if it wasn't the Arizona Cardinals, who the leading receiver was supposed to be MHJ, but it's Trey McBride.
The Chiefs leading receiver last season, I believe, was Travis Kelce.
Agreed. So it's not like you're going to get a wide receiver one and be like, oh, I'm all set. Because even if you have a wide receiver one, all opposing teams are going to be game plan for you. Like, for example, Jets, it's Garrett Wilson. Bills, that's going to be DJ Moore. I have no idea what the hell they're doing. Dolphins, it's Jalen Waddle. Bengals, it's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And the list goes on and on and on.
Correct.
So obviously I'm a little annoyed of fans that want AJ Brown, but I don't want to lose draft capital, and that's really important.
And the Bills did with the DJ Moore trade. And it's like, they helped their quarterback. And well, look, now we have Romeo Doubs, and we didn't have to give away any draft capital. And who's in the chat today saying we're not helping Drake May? No one.
And here's the best part about this, guys. It's confirmed that we officially have 11 draft picks.
Right.
I think that's second highest or tied for second highest, because I believe Pittsburgh is in the lead with 12.
Interesting. But yeah, now that day two is over, we got like, if I were to do the math, we got like less than 18 to 19 hours left until free agency starts. Obviously, you are going to be expecting like press conferences from all of the free agents, Draymond Jones, Reggie Gilliam, AVT, Romeo Doubs. We want to quickly talk about like what the hell are we going to be doing with re-signs, because I heard reports that Commanders may be looking into K'Lavon Chaisson. I think they're going to overpay him, but is there a couple of internal free agents that we might be looking to? Because I heard they're this close to giving Hawkins an extension, but are there any other players? Because we already know Tonga's gone, Lowe's gone, Hooper's gone, so we still got like a decent chunk still in the mix, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, I would love if we could bring back Chaisson. To me, that's just like opposite of Draymond Jones. It would just be insane. Again, I think Harold Landry, I mean, if he's a rotational piece, cool, but I just think his like full-time starting days are kind of over. And then, yeah, Jalen Hawkins would be the other guy I'm interested in bringing back. Beyond that, I feel like it's just really depth players. I don't think we're kind of missing out on anyone. I assume we're going to like obviously have Joshua Farmer, maybe try and fill the hole that Tonga left, but we don't really have that like space eating D tackle anymore with the departure of Tonga. That's probably something we look for in the draft, but those would be my main two re-signs. Like I said, I really don't think there's anyone else. Oh, Gibbons, yeah, you make a good point.
100%. I think we should give Gibbons an extension.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either.
Because right now the linebacker room is barren because we cut Tavai. I think that they're going to cut Marte Mapu because I'm not a huge fan of him. So all you're left is Spillane and Ellis. And if you don't resign, because we can't invest in the draft, because look at the current free agents that are still on the list. You still got Bobby Okereke out of the Giants. You still got I need to look at the list again because
I'd re-up Spillane. What do you guys think?
I would restructure his contract.
100%.
Because he's coming back from an injury. So obviously, if I were to look into the draft, obviously I'm not going to talk about draft at the moment, but if you look at currently who's available, yeah, Okereke is available. Let me think. I don't think Devin Bush is available because I think he's with the Bears. Who else?
I feel like Logan Wilson at linebacker wouldn't be terrible.
Logan Wilson would be pretty interesting.
He wouldn't be bad at all, but
Did
Bobby
he sign?
would be.
I don't.
No, Logan Wilson's not signed yet.
I didn't think so.
I think the biggest one is going to be Bobby Okereke because he was cut by the Giants and he was the leader for the Giants at the time. But then obviously they cut him because I didn't think Okereke was going to be the free agent. They also have
fascinating.
I think it's pronounced Bobby Okereke.
It's Okereke.
Oh,
yeah,
Okereke.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Matt Milano's still there, but he's been injury prone. Kenneth Murray, he would be interesting, but I'm not going to be invested in him. Jerome Baker.
I realize AJ Espinoza is a free agent, 27 years old.
Epinesa would be.
I would give him like a 1 year.
Talked about him the other day. That would be cool.
Yeah, I would
take another one off the Bills.
That would be funny. But if I were the Patriots, now that you got like your big free agencies off the free agents, I would like settle down with like the contracts, giving them like at least 1 or 2 year deals, just give them like a prove it deal, like what you mentioned earlier, Andy Epinesa. Also, Willie Gay Jr. is currently available. We can prime away from the Dolphins. Linebacker Willie Gay Jr.
Yeah, he's not a bad player.
Shaq Thompson available. We can prime away from the Bills. Who else am I looking at that I think it could be a perfect guy? Who else? KJ Britt, who is also with the Dolphins. Jerome Baker, who is with the
Britt would be
Jerome Baker could be interesting. So those who are the guys I'm looking at for a linebacker. Those are the guys I'm looking at for a linebacker. For a tight end, I would. Now that some of the guys that I want are gone, now it's all Okonkwo, Goddard, Njoku.
Old Goddard. I mean, what did Dallas Goddard even do? Did he do much last year?
I don't remember.
Honestly, remember.
I don't know who the tight end 2 was across from Goddard for the Philadelphia Eagles, because it was like vanilla and cupcakes. I don't know.
I don't know either. Dallas Goddard, 15 games in 2025, 60 receptions for 591 yards and 11 touchdowns. So not the worst. Not the worst.
Yeah, but not the best either.
No.
And obviously we're not getting Zach Ertz because he's also old too. Like, I could see he's good. Connor is asking Dre Greenlaw. I do not want Dre Greenlaw. I do not want him. Because Dre Greenlaw has been dealing with injuries as of late, so I still remember the whole San Francisco scary injury back in Super Bowl 58, and then
Greenlaw is definitely an interesting player.
But I'm not like, obviously with injuries, it's like after scary injuries, not to
released by the Broncos. Broncos was with $31 million FA bust. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that. I mean, it'd be nice if he could get a comeback here from Vrabel, and we talked about what he's done with injured guys before. So let's see.
But I would not be like sold out on getting more assets, because at least we still have like $500,000 left of the cap space. So I wouldn't eat up the whole thing. But the biggest thing is we're going to have to save some money for re-signing players like Hawkins and Gibbons. But more importantly, we need to save money for extending Gonzo, because the more we wait, the more expensive he's going to be. Look what the Jets did when they had to when they had to extend Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. They had to wait for a while, and look how expensive it was for them.
And now they got rid of Gardner.
And then you're going to have to save more money for Drake May. Yep. Because in 2027, he's eligible for that contract. Obviously, I know that Drake May being like Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes going to restructure his contract to make room for players. But at this point, as we had like 18 to 19 hours left until like free agency hits, trade starts to affect, I'm more curious about the press conferences, how it's going to see if these the free agents we bring in are efficient enough and really good enough, and then not to mention that you still have that decent amount of money to bring back some players, like bringing back Hawkins, bringing back Jack Gibbons. I would let Alex Austin go. Chason, I hate to say this, but we might have to let him go. I like him, but I think he's using us as leverage, prompting him to bring him back, give him like a reasonable deal. Or unless the Commanders overpay him, which I want him to see, and then how it pans out, and then be like, oh, we didn't have to give him that amount of money. And saying, oh, it was worth it. Do you think that Commanders at this point are overpaying? They're going to overpay Chason because they did it with Adafe Owe yesterday.
Did. I mean, if they're serious about getting their defense up to par, they might look at some video from Jason last year and be tempted to overpay him for him.
Because he was a former first round pick from the Jaguars.
Right. Yeah.
So I wouldn't, he's a young player, so like obviously but
Chason?
He's like 26, around 26, 27.
Huh.
But obviously the one thing about Chason that I'm a little concerned about is that he's not good against the run. And I know Mike Vrabel said that he wants to go after running backs, and I think there's a reason why we got Draymond Jones, because he's good. I think the run. And so I think that if we get Draymond Jones, it prompts to say that Chason might be gone. But more importantly, I think that we don't have that amount of amount of cap space to like pay. I don't know if we should pay like a shit ton of amount for Chason. Like I would give him like $9 million, but obviously based off of his salary, I would say like his average is like 17 million or 18 million. Austin, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's why I didn't go to school for, statistics, financials, or anything.
Neither did I. I took a biostats course. I mean, I'm not, but these NFL numbers, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Like, wow. Yeah.
They do so many gymnastics with the cap nowadays.
I know.
They like bump it up like every year or so. So now it's like, but at this point, with the Draymond Jones move, we're gonna have to draft an edge rusher no matter what. With the first round over pick, the New York Patriots slide edge rusher blank.
New York Patriots.
Oh shit! The New England Patriots select blank.
Right.
It could be anybody.
Put name here. Could be a wide receiver. Could be a defensive end. Could even be a trade up.
You don't know. Right. But before we close out this stream, you guys can take turns, but how would you grade day 2 overall, and what other needs do the Patriots need as we head into day 3 and as we head officially to free agency? Starting with you, Austin, and then get to Andy.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna give it an overall grade of like an A-. I really liked us bringing in Elijah Vera Tucker, where you're taking a shot on a guy with upside. And I'd caveat it with us extending Ben Brown, so there's less risk involved because we have somebody who is familiar in that role if Elijah Vera Tucker were to get hurt. So it's just banking on the upside that he's going to stay healthy and return to like an all-pro level. And then Romeo Doubs, I think, brings a level of wide receiver play that we have not seen in New England in a little bit, to be honest. I mean, we got a taste. With, Diggs and Booty last year. But beyond that, it's been super stagnant. So I'm really excited to just have Drake May basically build chemistry with somebody who's actually proven themselves in this league. So overall, I'd say an A- for those two.
Andy?
Yeah, I'm almost. I mean, I said C plus yesterday because it was, and then it was like, it's like okay, it's like I forget who went. The defensive guy who went to the Panthers, and it's like, oh my god, are we really this cheap? I'm afraid we might be. And then today comes along, it's okay, AVT, you got the offensive lineman. Yeah, again, like I said, he could, be put in between the two sophomore guys and Wilson and Campbell. You've got the wide receiver, the tall wide receiver, who maybe we haven't even had since I don't even know when, because Edelman wasn't tall. So yeah, that C plus is bumped up to the B minus, B plus, A minus range for me today, because those are. I mean, yeah, we got the defensive end yesterday, but it's like, yeah, which is a need, but so is wide receiver, and so is an offensive lineman, especially a guard. So, well, right tackle will be an upcoming need. But yeah, I mean, I like AVT, like I said, very high risk, very high reward. And Romeo Dobbs is, going to be that young red zone threat, and possibly not able to stretch the field that much, but he can get separation again, which is something we haven't had in a wide receiver in a while. So yeah, I'd say, the A minus, B plus range for me overall.
I would also give it a B plus. I would push it to A minus if they could do one thing for me. I love the signing so far. Like, if we're given like day 2 overall, I'd say that we fixed the offensive line. We improved the offensive line, not fixed. We improved. Plus, we improved on the wide receiver position, because I would be really pissed if the Patriots did not sign a wide receiver. I would be pissed if the Patriots did not sign a left guard. So we checked these boxes. I would push it up to an A if they could have done a couple things. One, sign a tight end, which I don't think they're going to be any good tight ends anymore, because they're all old, and all the ones that I want, they went to whatever team just for them to suck. Second, I think they're going to need some linebacker depth and safety depth, because one, you have zero clue what you're going to do with Hawkins. Two, you have a gaping hole because you don't know if you're going to resign Gibbons, and you cut Tavai. So, and the third of all, you want to resign your free agents, because if you don't resign your free agents, you're leaving a gaping hole with like chemistry, leadership, and the playability from all of these players. Like, if you don't resign Hawkins and if you don't resign Gibbons, you're leaving a gaping hole under defense, and you're going to have to look into the draft. So I would give it a B, a B plus, because I love the signings. I wish that they could do a little more with like maybe like small deals, not like these large deals, but just give them like the more realistic deals, if you know what I mean. But that's going to be it for today's episode. Obviously, I don't think we're going to do a day 3, because who knows who the Patriots are going to sign, but be on the lookout for like what to expect. Obviously, Friday, as usual, I will be doing my mock draft Friday, so keep an eye out for that. The theme will be post-free agency mock draft. That will be the video for Friday, so keep an eye on that. If you guys haven't already, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up on your way out of the stream. Comment down below what letter grade you would give for the Patriots for day 2 of free agency, or your thoughts on Romeo Dobbs, thoughts on AVT. And obviously, please click the subscribe button. It's the best way to help us support the channel, help us support all the boys in the Patriots Clubhouse, because we wouldn't be doing this without your support, guys. So really appreciate it. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, let's go Pat.